Hi everybody, Jeremy here from Video Editor Studio, and today I'm gonna answer a question that people have been asking me a lot, which is Davinci Resolve easy to use? I'm gonna answer that right now, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so in Davinci Resolve 17 right now, we are on the media page, and I'm gonna quickly run you through the different pages in Davinci Resolve and explain you the process and how it works. Here we have the media page, where you basically are gonna organize your media and import your media. Then you have the cut page where you're gonna maybe run through your first clip and organize your first clip. Then you have the edit page where you're gonna do most of your work, where basically you're gonna structure your entire video, make your cut and so on. The fusion page then is done for compositing and VFX work. And then there is a color page where you're gonna do all your color grading, and then you can move over to Fairlight, which is basically only for sound design. And then you can go over to the render page and export your work. So I really like those different categories. I'm gonna run you through quickly the whole process so you can quickly see how it looks like. So here I'm gonna import a folder with a bunch of clip right there. As you can see, everything has been imported and still organized. Then you can move over to the cut page, and here in the cut page you can start to just either drag some clip in to organize a storyline, a timeline that you want, or you can also use a technique that I use a lot, which is basically having this view which is source tape, and here you can scroll through your entire footage selection. You can select in point, you can select out point, and then you can import it directly into your timeline. I've made an entire video on this, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but basically that's the method that I use to select and go through my footage. When you've made your first selection, you can then move over to the edit page. Here in the edit page you can do a lot of things. That's where you're gonna do pretty much all your cutting. You're gonna add your music and start cutting to the beat, or gonna start to really move things around and create your storyline. You can also here add effect and titles. So here you have some titles, you can bring some text. Davinci came already with a bunch of free text and effect that you can use, and it's just plenty enough to get you started. But we also, on your website, we have a free starter pack that you can use, where is here a bunch of different titles like counter. We have some lower third. You can just take them, drag them directly here on the timeline, and then you can go over to your inspector right here and change the size, the position, the text, and so on. It's very easy to use and very intuitive to use. Once you've done stuff that you are happy with, you can then move over to the fusion page. If you're a beginner, I will not necessarily recommend the fusion page because it might be a bit complicated and the node system might be a bit confusing, whereas the edit page is a bit easier to get a grasp on. So I will recommend you to stay focused on the edit page, because now you can also do a lot of things directly on the edit page. With the latest version of Davinci, you have a lot of effects that were in Fusion before that you can now use directly on the edit page. So once you're happy with your edit and everything is done, you can move over to the color page where you're gonna do your color work. So the color page can be also a bit overwhelming at first because there is a lot of things happening, but basically you can focus only on a couple of things at the beginning. Here you have some LUT, so it's already preset that you can just drag and drop directly onto your clip. So for example, right there, let's find one that I like. I like this one, I use it a lot. I can just take it and drag it directly onto my clip, and here, as you can see, it applied preset that modified the color of my clip. If I toggle it on and off, as you can see, it drastically changed the color of my clip. You don't have to go very in depth with all the curves, selector, and so on at the beginning. If you want to make small adjustments, you can stay only here with the primaries and adjust the shadow, the midtones, the highlight, the offset, which are basically the light. And here you can adjust also, for example, the saturation, making your clip more saturated, less saturated. You can lift a bit the shadow, so if you want more or less shadow onto your clip, you can do that right here. Same thing here with the highlight. You can reduce the highlight, raise the highlight, so you can do already a lot of things just by using here the primaries. So just focusing on here, moving around your clip in that timeline, make some adjustment with a preset maybe, and playing with the primaries to adjust exactly the color that you want. And it doesn't have to be very complicated, you can just get started by using those. Once you're happy with your color grading, you can move over to the Fairlight page, and here you can make some adjustment with the sound. So you can adjust the level and make sure that your sound is properly balanced. You have a bunch of effects that you can use. You can use some noise reduction, you can use some compressor. There is a couple of very good presets that you can use here, even if you don't know so much about sound. Just look a bunch of tutorial online and you can very easily getting like a better sound by using a couple of those effects. And once you're happy with your sound, you can now move over to the deliver page, and here that's where you're gonna export your footage. So here you can just name your file, you can just choose a location, and you can adjust here the resolution that you want to be exported at, and then you can just add to render queue. So here I'm just gonna replace that, and then I'm gonna start rendering. And here, as you can see, the rendering process has started, and now my video is exported. That's the entire editing process that you will go through if you edit in Davinci Resolve. I really like that page system because, in my opinion, when you're a beginner, you're not necessarily sure where to start and what to do, and here it gives you a clear path of what are the steps to make a video. So first, bringing your footage into a timeline, starting then to organize it, making your cut and the entire edit and the story of your video. Then you can do some VFX work, then you adjust your color, then you adjust your sound, and then you can render your final video. But first, you can start with the free version, which is awesome, and in my opinion, it's a no-brainer if you're starting with video editing. I'll put the link in the description to download the free version of Davinci Resolve, as well as our free starter pack, which is basically what I've showed you earlier. It's a bunch of titles that you can easily drag and drop into your timeline, and I hope it will help you get started with video editing. All right, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in a comment what kind of video you would like to see next. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye. Speed up your workflow and create better videos using the pack available on our website, including titles, transition, and templates, but only for Davinci Resolve. Get started today by downloading our free starter pack containing a compilation of 20 titles curated from our library. Link in the description below or at videoeditorstudio.com.